So I've added some of the greatest players of all time to the upcoming draft, and we're going to see who's going to come out on top as the new GOAT. We got guys like Wayne Gretzky, Jaromir Jagr, Mario Lemieux, Gordie Howe, Connor Bedard. Yeah, even with all these legends, he's still projected to go number 5. Maurice Rocket-Richard, Bobby Orr, Nick Lidstrom, whoever this guy is. I don't know how he's ahead of some of these legends, but I guess he is. Mike Bossy, Leo Carlsson, Zach Benson. Where are the rest of these legends? Patrick Waugh, Marty Brodeur. He's projected to go number 15. Spoiler alert, he has franchise potential, and he's dropped all the way to number 15. Not gonna lie, that's some crazy disrespect. So I'm gonna go ahead and simulate through the entire season, and we're gonna see who's gonna get a chance to draft some of these legends. Also, I've put everyone's original draft pick back on their team, so teams like Florida, who traded away their first round pick, they have it back now. So ideally, nobody trades their first round pick this season. Finishing at the top of the league this season is gonna be the Florida Panthers, and number 2 right behind them is gonna be the New York Rangers. But none of this matters. We have to see who's finishing at the bottom of the league and who's going to get a chance at Wayne Gretzky and all the other legends available. So Arizona's finishing dead last. I really don't think anyone's surprised by that. 28, 49, and 5. We're just going to move on from this team. No clue how they did this bad. Not one clue whatsoever. And ideally, this is actually the worst spot for St. Louis, because ideally they finish like 18th or something and they pick up a guy like Patrick Waugh. But now we're going to get like Mario Lemieux. Devastated by that one. 27th in the league is going to be the Los Angeles Kings, Anaheim Ducks, Seattle Kraken are here, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Montreal Canadiens. Maybe they're going to be adding Patrick Waugh to the team. You never know what's going to happen. Calgary Flames, Nashville Predators. All these guys are going to have a chance at an absolute legend. I mean, I guess we can count the top 11 teams because one team's getting Connor Bedard, so it's not like they're going to be really losing out. Kirill Kaprizov's going to be leading the entire league in points with 118. Jason Robertson's right behind him with 107, and then Roope Hintz is rounding out the top 3 with 106. And Connor McDavid only picking up 104 points. Nah, you're washed. Hate to see it, you really do. In the postseason, we're seeing a rematch from last year's Stanley Cup Finals. The Tampa Bay Lightning are taking on the Colorado Avalanche, but this time around, Tampa's going to be coming out on top in 5 games. Taking a look at the draft lottery results, the greatest thing possible happened. The St. Louis Blues are moving up from 2 to 1. They're going to be getting Wayne Gretzky as long as they don't completely fold here. And there's no reason they should be folding, so we're getting Wayne Gretzky at number 1. So let's just jump right into the draft. And with the first overall pick, the St. Louis Blues are selecting Wayne Gretzky. Thankfully, they didn't screw it up. I was actually a bit concerned that they wouldn't be selecting him. With the number 2 overall pick, the Anaheim Ducks are going to be selecting Jaromir Jagr, 78 overall sniper. That's going to be a great pickup for them, putting him alongside Trevor Zegras. With the 3rd overall pick, the Arizona Coyotes are going to be selecting Connor Bedard, passing up on all these other legends, including Mario Lemieux. And I'm guessing he's going number 4, and that's exactly where he's headed. He's off to Chicago. With the 5th overall pick, the Detroit Red Wings are going to be selecting Bobby Orr, a great defenseman to pair alongside Mo Seider. That's going to be a deadly combination. With the 6th overall pick, Gordie Howe is going to be joining the Columbus Blue Jackets. And with the 7th overall pick, the LA Kings are picking up Nick Lidstrom, and he's going to be replacing Drew Doughty in a couple years. With the 8th overall pick, the Seattle Kraken are going to be selecting this dude. No clue who he is still. The Philadelphia Flyers are up next, and they're going to be selecting Mike Bossy, medium elite. I am 99% sure I gave him franchise potential, but I guess it's dropped to medium elite now. Actually, I'm not 99% sure. I know I gave him franchise potential, so I don't know what's going on there. The Buffalo Sabres are up next, and they're going to be selecting Leo Carlsson. Very questionable decision. The Calgary Flames are up next, and they're going to be adding Maurice Rocket-Richard to the team, an elite sniper. And the Nashville Predators, they're up next, Zach Benson. Okay, I guess these goaltenders are just going to be following. Yep. Ottawa, are you going to be selecting one of them? Nope. 15th overall pick, Patrick Waugh to the Florida Panthers, who just finished 1st in the entire league. I don't know who they got this pick from. They traded for this pick because they finished 1st in the entire league. Nah, when that Bobrovsky contract's up and you have him taken over, that's going to be an elite team, as long as they can keep everyone together. Penguins are passing up on Martin Brodeur because they want to roll with Tristan Jarry. Questionable decision there. Okay, 18th overall, Martin Brodeur. Why would you select him? San Jose, you should have selected Martin Brodeur. You need a goaltender. The Dallas Stars already have Jake Oettinger. This was a terrible pick. I mean, he was the best player left on the board, so I completely understand why they picked him, but he would have been way better off in San Jose or Pittsburgh. But instead, he's going to the Dallas Stars. We'll see how that works out in a few years. So out of all our new rookie skaters here, the only forward that's going to be headed back to the WHL is going to be Maurice Rocket-Richard. He's going back to Quebec. And for the goaltenders, both of them are going to be heading back. Martin Brodeur is going back to the Winnipeg Ice. Well, Patrick Waugh, he's heading back to his own team in the Ramparts. When the season came to an end, Toronto's going to be finishing 1st in the entire league with a 52, 24, and 6 record. We're also going to see some teams making incredible jumps this year. Montreal is going all the way up to 6, Pittsburgh 7, Columbus 8. These are teams that finished in the bottom half last season. Florida's dropping all the way to 10. Dallas is making the playoffs, but Martin Brodeur is not in between the pipes. So that doesn't really matter too much. Winnipeg's making it, Minnesota, Vancouver, and then a lot of these teams are just completely falling off. Calgary, they're sneaking into the final playoff spot. The Boston Bruins are dropping off, and Philly, they're still missing the playoffs, but really, this isn't really much of a surprise. This team doesn't really have too much. And I was incorrect with the Calgary statement because San Jose is claiming the final playoff spot, 21st in the entire league. Yeah, so this team absolutely sucked, but yet they still made the playoffs. Doesn't really make sense. and St. Louis is 30th, and we're just going to move right on from that. And Gretzky had himself a decent season, 75 points, Gordie Howe 68, Shane Wright picked up 60, more than Jaromir Jagr and more than Mike Bossy. Now respectfully, Jaromir Jagr and Mike Bossy, and Shane Wright's picking up more points. Mario Lemieux's only picking up 44. Now we got a guy like Bob Ure, although he's a defenseman, 28 points, I'm still expecting a bit more. Offensive defenseman, I should see more from you. Same with Nick Lidstrom, only 27. We're still early on in their careers, but I'm still expecting more. And once again, it's going to be the Tampa Bay Lightning, as they're going to be beating the Winnipeg Jets in 7 games. So if you actually think about the timeline here, last season would have been the in real life playoffs, like that's going on right now. So Tampa's now made 5 straight Stanley Cup finals and have won 4 Stanley Cups. I don't like this timeline. Let's get away from it. Ain't no way St. Louis just dropped from 3 to 4. Hey, we're going to be adding another elite player alongside Wayne Gretzky, so I'm not really going to complain, but yes, I am. 3 to 4, you hate to see it. And Edmonton's jumping from 6 to 2. How is this team bad? They have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. I didn't even peep that. No, this game makes no sense. So Marty Brodeur and Patrick Roy are both going to be making the jump to the NHL this season. Brodeur's up to an 85, while Patrick Roy, he's up to an 83. Of course, both these guys are going to be backups this season. That really shouldn't be a surprise. But next season, hopefully they're taking over in net, and I'm expecting them to do big things. Also, shout out to Nick Lidstrom. He's now the most valuable player in the NHL, and he's up to an 87 overall. Gotta give respect where respect is due. Gordie Howe, he's also up to an 87 overall. Jaromir Jagr, an 86. Wayne Gretzky, he's an 89. Bro, I want 100 points from you this season. You had 75 last year, so 100 is very possible, but put you beside Robert Thomas, the elite combination, 2 of the greatest players to ever touch the ice. Nah, that would be an absolutely crazy duo. Mario Lemieux, Chicago Blackhawks, sadly you have no one around you. Actually, have they made any additions? I want to check that real quick. So Mario Lemieux is going to be the second line center on this team because Patrice Bergeron and Jacob Voracek are going to be on the first line. 35 years old and 39 years old. Yeah, let's not give Mario Lemieux those extra minutes because that makes so much sense. And who are Mario Lemieux's line mates? Well, Connor Sheary, who's 32 years old. No disrespect to Connor Sheary, and Connor Brown. So 2 Connors and Mario Lemieux. You're telling me you couldn't surround him with better players? Nah, but real talk, each player on this line is recording 100 points this season. Wayne Gretzky, Buchnevich, Robert Thomas, who's up to a 90 overall, leading the team. What did Thomas do last season? Okay, 75 points, we didn't see that. But him and Wayne Gretzky, unstoppable. Hold on. How did this happen? How did we get Sorokin? We signed him in free agency, but who's the Islanders goaltender now? No, that team's cooked. How did this happen? You let Sorokin walk and said, nah, we got Phoenix Copley to roll with. How much are you paying him? That's so disrespectful. Sorokin, I want a career season out of you. No, that's wild. When this season came to an end, the Rangers are sticking at the top of the league with a 54, 23, and 5 record. The Leafs are dropping back a bit, but they're still finishing in the top 3. The Oilers are back in their prime, and they're finishing 6th in the entire league. Columbus and Pittsburgh are both making the playoffs once again, but all we care about is the St. Louis Blues. No, actually, Philly, that's a tough look, but I don't really care about that team. Where's St. Louis? Playoff season, baby. We're back. Wayne Gretzky, Ilya Sorokin, they're in the postseason. Yes, we're the 15th seed. That doesn't matter. We're in the postseason. Tampa's also finishing 16th in the entire league, so ideally they don't make a run this season, but you can never count them out. The Kings are making the playoffs. The Ducks are missing, and so are the Stars. I'm actually surprised about the Stars because you had Jake Ottinger and Marty Brodeur as your goaltending tandem, so what went wrong there? Montreal's missing. The Islanders are missing because they got rid of their goaltender and they had Phoenix Copley holding it down. St. Louis legend, but nonetheless, that's not going to win you games. Florida's also missing the playoffs, and dead last in the entire league, that's the Calgary Flames. Also, Arizona just never improves, I guess. They're just going to stay a poverty franchise for the rest of their existence. Before I look at any of our legends, shout out to Austin Matthews, 71 goals, because why not? I mean, 71 goals just happens every other day. So how did our goaltenders do this season? I don't care about the points they scored. I want wins. So where are our guys at? Marty Brodeur, 10 wins, 7 losses, 1 OT loss, a 907 save percentage, and a 270 goals against. Not the worst stats in the world, but also not the best. Well, Patty Waugh, 6-10 with an 890 and a 366. Those aren't good. Keep in mind, he had Florida in front of him, his first season in the league. I'm expecting him to pick it up. So I'm not going to be mentioning the stats for every single legend, but I mean, we'll check out Jaromir Jagr because why not? 77 points. Also going over to Arizona, why does this team continue to suck? Oh, they selected Connor Bedard. Yeah, they don't have one of our legends. They went with Bedard. Might have been a massive mistake for that franchise. You never know. Maurice Rocket-Richard's having a solid season, but he's not really picking up that many goals. Only 26. Kind of defeats the purpose of having a Rocket Richard trophy if you ask me, but that's neither here nor there. Mario Lemieux, 63 points. He would have 100 if he had competent line mates around him. That doesn't matter. Oh yeah, let's check out Columbus. Who'd they have? Gordie Howe. 72 points. Love to see it. And shout out to Bobby Orr for being that guy on the defense end, 45 points with Detroit. Alright, screw it. I'm basically going over everyone's numbers now because I've basically almost mentioned everyone's numbers. Mike Bossy, 36 goals, 30 assists, 66 points. Pretty solid season from him. Over on the Pittsburgh Penguins, who did this team have? I can't even remember. Did they draft anyone? No, they passed up on one of the legends. Completely forgot about that. I forgot about all these teams that actually passed up on really good players. Okay. Nope, I'm done looking at stats. You didn't see that. That didn't happen. They were 16th in the entire league. 6 straight final appearances. 5 Stanley Cups. What was this team doing? What were the numbers players recorded? Kucherov, 36 points. Valid. Quinn Hughes, not even on the team. Brain Point, 27. How? Vasilevsky, you better have had a goals against of 0. 334. How? How does this team win? 16th in the entire league, 6 straight Stanley Cup appearances, 5 Stanley Cups, with a 334 goals against. What did Stammer do? Actually, I didn't even look at that. I just went Kucherov and point. Where's Stamkos in all this? Stamkos, 19 points. I don't know how. Jack Roslovic had 20. Jack Roslovic had 20 postseason points. What did he do in his previous postseasons? Hold on. 3 points in 4 games, 2 points in 4 games, 0 points in 6 games, 3 points in 10 games, 20 points in 23 games with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa's unstoppable, I guess. I suppose it wouldn't hurt if I showed awards once in a while, and Gordie Howe took home the Calder last season, taking it away from Wayne Gretzky. So I thought I'd mention that because that's very interesting. Also, shout out to Nick Lidstrom, took home the Matheson Award, which really doesn't matter in this video game because how do you show qualities of perseverance and sportsmanship and dedication to hockey in a video game? Nah, you guys don't deserve that for real. 10-1 for the New York Islanders as they get the first overall pick. You're at Sorokin Walk. You don't deserve to get the first overall pick. You just said, nah, we're too cheap. We want to pay it. We're going to pay $1 million to Phoenix Copley. You guys should have lost your first overall pick. You don't deserve that for real. Okay, it's time to have some dialogue. Let's have a conversation. Wayne Gretzky, 92 overall. Role, first line forward. Potential, high franchise. 63 points. Now, respectfully, and I'm going to say this the most respectful way possible, that was one of the worst seasons I've ever seen from an all-time legend in all time. You're putting up Nail Yakupov numbers. These are Nail Yakupov numbers with the Edmonton Oilers. Now, I know Nail Yakupov never had 63 points. What was Nail Yakupov's career high? It was not that. In the OHL, he picked up 101. In the NHL, it was 33. Mario Lemieux, you're going to be one of the higher overalls at an 87, but I shouldn't really say that because Maurice Rock-Richard's a 91. And then, of course, when I hit R2, I go to Leon Draisaitl because obviously that's the next person in order. Yeah, I tried to go to the next player who would be Bobby Orr, who's a 91 overall, but I love when I press R2, I immediately go to Leon Draisaitl because this game was so well made because they thought, man, when Stick on the Ice wants to go to his next player in order, he's just going to click R2 and casually go to the next player. No, he's going to go to the top of the order so you can see Leon Draisaitl's numbers. Yes, that's exactly what I wanted. You know what? I don't care anymore. Let's just get into next season. I swear they actually just kind of gave up when making this game. It's literally just the smallest little details. Hey, I want to go to the next player in this order. I'm going to press R2. Oh, psych, you're going to get sent to the top of the order, so you can't go in order from player to player. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. At the end of the year, Colorado's finishing first in the league, but most importantly, they're averaging over 4 goals a game, so this team couldn't be stopped. Toronto's going to be another top team in the league once again this season. They're finishing 5th, but Calgary, 7th in the entire league, and Florida 6th. Now, it's about time these teams start playing up to expectations. Tampa, they're 10th, so they're probably going to win another Stanley Cup because why wouldn't they? The Rangers are dropping all the way to 13th, but they're still making the playoffs, and Columbus, Edmonton, and Chicago are going to be rounding out the final 3 playoff teams. So that means once again, the St. Louis Blues are this low. Did they finish dead last? 27th in the entire league with Wayne Gretzky. Okay then. And Detroit, you're not getting a pass either. What happened to all this young talent you had? And who'd you add? Bobby Orr to the defense? No, that's just disrespectful. Seattle, I think, passed up on one of the legends. Philly, I know, didn't. They're finishing 31st. And Buffalo's 32nd. I thought they had a bunch of young talent too. What's going on here? Okay, so I'm just having the AI control the Boston Bruins, so that's the team I'm on. And Jonathan Toews just had 82 points in 82 games at 38 years old in the year 2026. Just for a bit of reference in Jonathan Toews' career, that would be a career high for this man. His previous career high was in 2018-2019 when he had 81 points. So at 38 years old, he posted a career high in points with 82. Alright, I guess we'll move on from that. So Nathan McKinnon's going to be leading the entire league in points with 117. Austin Matthews is picking up 52 goals. Brad Marchand's got 54. I don't care. I want to see a legend. Gordie Howe's going to be the top legend here at 96 points. And Wayne Gretzky's right behind him with 95. Finally, there's some legends actually doing something. Now Gretzky, I want more than 95 points. I think that should be a bare minimum for you, but we move on. Who's the next legend? Maurice Rocker-Richard, 93 points, a pretty solid campaign from him. And then we just keep on going down. As Mike Bossy's having an incredible season, 59 goals. Looking at defensemen, Adam Fox is going to be leading the way, and we're going to see a bunch of guys having great seasons. But where's Bobby Orr? Like, where's Bobby Orr? And Nick Lidstrom. Lidstrom's picking up 59 points this season, 10 goals, 49 assists. That ain't a bad year for him. But Bobby Orr, where are you, my guy? You're an offensive defenseman, 53 points. I teamed you up with Mo Seider, so you have a great defensive partner with you. I think you should be picking up 70 points. Like, is that ridiculous? Mo Seider's picking up 50. Luckily, he's still on the team. And all these guys are in their contract year. And Mo Seider's got an incredible deal. $6 million per year for the next 4 years. He's an 89 overall, so that's an elite tandem that can grow. I want to see these guys do better. They're the greatest players of all time. They all have franchise potential. Am I asking for too much? I feel like I'm not. No, with goaltenders, I'm assuming that both of these guys are still backups this season, so I'm not expecting too many wins from them, but I still expect some decent numbers. So Marty Berdeur's taken over a net for the Dallas Stars this season, 24 wins and 24 losses, an 899 and a 338. These were numbers posted by an elite goaltender with franchise potential that's a 90 overall. How is a 90 overall goalie putting up these type of numbers? Like, respectfully here. And the Patrick Waugh, 13-8-4 record, an 894 save percentage, and a 322, an 87 overall. I mean, unless the defense is absolutely terrible in front of them, I'm expecting better numbers from these guys. But actually, now that I'm looking at all the other save percentages and goals against, maybe these numbers aren't that bad. Maybe 3 goals allowed per game isn't that bad. Like, look at Vanacek, an 894 and a 365, and he still picked up 35 wins. All right then. But finally, the day has come where Tampa Bay loses in the second round. This team made 6 straight Stanley Cup appearances, 5 Stanley Cups. I'm just happy somebody else won other than the Lightning. Like, eventually you just get tired of it. But Vegas is beating Toronto, so Toronto still can't win a Stanley Cup. It's tough out there, it really is. Okay, so none of our legends made deep runs in the postseason, so I don't expect them to have very many points. But man, I have to go really far down this list to find somebody, and it's going to be Gordie Howe, 1 goal and 10 assists for 11 points. I just want to mention, this is the contract year for everyone that's not a goaltender. So Patrick Waugh and Marty Brodeur, their contract year is next season, but for everyone else, this was your contract year. Oh, and I guess Mario Lemieux, because he went back to the CHL for that 1 year. So other than those three guys, bags are about to be secured. Alright, so let's look at the bags that were absolutely secured. So I was wrong, it wasn't Mario Lemieux that went back, it was Maurice Rocker-Richard, so he still has 1 more year on his deal, but that's neither here nor there. Wayne Gretzky, an incredible deal for a guy like Gretzky, $9.5 million per year for the next 5 years. Absolute steal. Gordie Howe, $13.8 million per year for the next 6 seasons. Gordie Howe had what? Like 2 more points than Gretzky did? Last season he had 96 points. Gretzky had like 95 or something. Let's double check this. 95. You're paying Gordie Howe $5 million more dollars. Or $4 million more dollars. Honestly, that's neither here nor there, but we're not going to worry about it. Nick Lidstrom, $10.12 million for the next 5. As a top pairing defenseman, that's not the end of the world, especially since he's one of the best defensemen in the league, even though he doesn't produce the numbers. Bob Orr, $9.8 million, 5 years. Pretty solid deal. Mario Lemieux's getting $10 million per year for the next 5 years. Jaromir Jagr, what kind of numbers is he getting? 8.6 for the next 5. Honestly, I like that deal. I think out of any of the deals so far, other than the Wayne Gretzky deal, because that's by far the best, Jagr might be the second best, because I think he's like 1 player away from having an absolute breakout season. You pair him alongside 2 other great players, a great playmaker in Trevor Zegras, and 1 other guy. Jagr's averaging 100 points a season. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. And as I said last season, Patrick Waugh and Martin Brodeur have 1 more season left on their contracts. Marty Berdeur's up to an 89 overall, while Patrick Waugh, he's up to an 89 as well. So did Brodeur drop 1 overall? He was a 90 last season, wasn't he? Cruel world we live in. How you're declining at 22 years old. He's past his prime. You hate to see it. When the season came to an end, the Calgary Flames are finishing first with a 53-26-3 record. So looking at the entire league, we have the Calgary Flames finishing first with a 53-26-3 record. This team sat at the bottom of the league for a long time, and here they are. And the Detroit Red Wings, they're finally making the playoffs. They went through a lot of hardships. You love to see it, you really do. And the Tampa Bay Lightning, it's finally happened. They're missing the playoffs. They're actually worse than the Arizona Coyotes of all teams. Nah, if you're worse than the Arizona Coyotes, I think you got to relocate your franchise. Unless you're the St. Louis Blues, who are finishing 31st with Wayne Gretzky. At this point, I actually want to look at the St. Louis Blues. Like, how can this team be this bad? Alright, shout out to David Pastrnak, 120 points. Panarin's on this team now, 116 points. They also have this guy named Gavin, 100 points. 3 guys over 100. You love to see it, I guess. Alright, the St. Louis Blues. Wayne Gretzky, 98 points. I mean, not a bad season. I'll take 98 points. 7 game-winning goals. He did his thing. Robert Thomas, 76 points. I'm still expecting more, but Buchnevich is gone. Braden Shen's getting old. He's 35 now. Nah, this team's just getting really old, and I don't even know what we're doing with our cap. Like, actually, what are we putting our money into? Oh, Sorokin's gone, and Binner's the backup. Okay, I completely understand why this team sucks now. I take it all back. It makes a lot more sense. So that happened. I guess Austin Matthews is just going to pick up 80 goals because why not? Because, I mean, like, 80 goals just happens every other day. What's going on? Also, Ovi's still here. 41 years old. He just picked up 43 goals this season. How many goals does he have on his career now? 1,019. All right. And he's an 86 overall still. Yeah, I got nothing to say about that. Wayne Gretzky, 98 points. Where's the rest of these legends? Maurice Rocket-Richard, of course, he's going to be leading the Calgary Flames with 95 points. I really shouldn't be surprised by that. Mike Bossy, he's going to have a decent season himself. 66 goals, 92 points. He would actually probably be leading the entire league in goals if Austin Matthews didn't pick up 80, because, yeah, why not pick up 80 goals? That really makes a lot of sense. Where are all these legends? We're borderline a point a game, and I'm not seeing any of them. There is a chance I passed them, and I just completely went over their name, but no, actually, seriously, we're at 80 points now. Where are these guys? Gordie Howe, 78 points, and you just committed $13 million to him, and he picked up 78 points for you. That's going to turn out to be one of the worst contracts in the league. As a defenseman, Bob Orr is looking absolutely fantastic, 77 points, and Jaromir Jagr, 76 points. I feel like the potential is still there for Jagr. You just got to surround him with a bunch of good players. Give him something to work with. Okay, and if you finish lower than like 74 points, I'm not going over you. Here's Connor Bedard, but I'm definitely forgetting somebody. I don't know who it is, but someone's being forgotten about. Brodeur is going to be looking incredible. He's picking up 40 wins this season with a 903 and a 324. That's a pretty solid campaign for him. While Patrick Waugh, 36 wins, a 909 and a 294. He's heading in the right direction, and when he takes over the reins fully, he's going to be a top goaltender in the league. Also, the guy I forgot about was definitely Nick Lidstrom. Where's he at? Old Nick Lidstrom. Absolute legend. Okay, there's no way you finish with less than 50 points this season. I'm missing him. Where is he? Is he an RFA? Did he sit out? He might have sat out this season. There is a chance I'm just completely missing him. Where is Nick Lidstrom? There he is. Wow, I am blind. 62 points. I'm going to keep it 1,000 with you, my guy. One scundo with you. 62 points ain't cutting it. It just isn't. I need more from you. I need you to be that guy. I need you to be him. And right now, you're not him. So with Tampa not making the postseason, there's going to be some teams going on runs. And it's going to be the Edmonton Oilers and Detroit Red Wings. But sadly, Detroit's going to be falling in the Stanley Cup final to the Edmonton Oilers. So Bob Orr's not getting a Stanley Cup. You really hate to see it. He was our first legend that actually had a chance at a Stanley Cup. And he just couldn't get it. But what do you do in the postseason? This is Boston's team. I don't really care about Boston. Actually, I do care about Boston, but I don't care about that Boston Bruins team right now because obviously we're talking about legends. And where is Bobby Orr? There he is. I was about to just skip to defenseman because I was going so far down the list. 4 goals, 11 assists, 15 points. Not a bad campaign, but as an offensive defenseman in the playoffs, when you got to step up, I need more from you, Bobby. I just do. And this doesn't really matter because St. Louis sucked, but Wayne Gretzky won the Frank Selke. I don't care about this. I really don't. So over the offseason, there was 3 guys securing bags, and one of them is Maurice Rocket-Richard, the highest valued player in the game, 95 overall, and he's only getting 10.4 million per year for the next 4 seasons. The fact that he didn't get more than this surprises me, just for the fact that Gordie Howe got what, 13 million? And he wasn't even the highest valued player. So I mean, that's kind of sus if you ask me. Looking at goaltenders, Patty Waugh, he's up to a 91 overall, and he's not really signed for too much, 7 million per year for the next 2 years. I was expecting more from him. And Brian Brodeur, only an 85 overall, hasn't really improved over the past 2 seasons. 3 million per year. Marty Brodeur is getting 3 million. No, this is the biggest steal in the NHL. This is the biggest steal in history. 3.2 million for Martin Brodeur, 85 overall, elite goalie, franchise potential. You should have signed him to a 19-year deal. You should have just broken all the rules, taken all the fines that you possibly could have, and just signed into a 19-year deal worth $3 million per year. Why would you sign this? What numbers did you put up last season? Because they weren't bad. 40, 19, and 5, a 903 and a 324, and you signed for $3 million. Fire your agent. All right, so we've reached the point where this video is just becoming, can St. Louis make the playoffs? Edmonton's finishing first, Toronto's fifth, so these 2 top teams continue to sit at the very top. Where are the rest of these teams that these legends are on? Calgary's dropping to 12, while Florida's finishing 13th. Tampa's back in the playoffs, and Chicago's here. Nashville's going to round out the top 6 teams that are making the playoffs. This is stupid. You have Wayne Gretzky. Please, okay, we're down to the final 2 teams. Just don't finish last. Don't finish dead last. I hate this franchise. I am actually starting to dislike them. Like, obviously, I'm not disliking them. I mean, the St. Louis Blues are the greatest franchise of all time. But NHL 23 does not feel the same way. We have Wayne Gretzky on the team. I'm starting to yell. I'm actually getting agitated about this. Wayne Gretzky's on this team. 2.91 goals per game. Wayne Gretzky is on this team, and we can score goals. Is there just a quick way I can just look at the roster here? Let's look at this. Wow. That forward core is atrocious. That defensive core is... No, actually, I want to... Wait, hold on. Who's in between the pipes? Who is in net? Oh, I read scratches as goaltenders. I thought it said Klim Kostin was in between the pipes for us. Like 80 overall forward, Klim Kostin in net for the St. Louis Blues. And I'm like, honestly, I'm surprised we won 29 games. Let's look at this team. Shout out to Pasta, 115 points, 19 points. Oh yeah, I can't even look at the lines. Of course I can't because the postseason's already over. All right, wow, McDavid, 118 points. I am so proud of you. Where are the legends? And keep in mind, greatest players of all time. Shout out to Mike Bossy, 55 goals, 91 points. You haven't been a complete disappointment this entire time. Like, as an elite goal scorer, you've been an elite goal scorer. 55 goals this season, 66 last season, 59 the year before. So you've been holding up your end of the bargain. And honestly, I'm actually pretty happy with how you're performing. You have dropped to a medium elite though. Has he been a medium elite this entire time? Maybe he has. I don't know. I feel that's just disrespectful for Mike Bossy. I don't know what's going on. I made him a franchise. Wayne Gretzky, 90 points. Like, I actually don't care in the slightest. Ovi is still here. How have you not retired? At this point, I want to see you get 1,100 goals. As long as you don't retire at the end of this season, I don't care. But how did you just score 57 goals, 37 goals? I don't care. I'm not talking right. I'm making up words, numbers, same difference. Gordie Howe, 85 points. Wow, fantastic. What is this Anaheim Ducks team looking like? I forgot I can't look at lines. Yeah, there's too much going on right now. I just can't focus. Trevor Zegras, Jaromir Jagr, Mason McTavish. Okay, who's playing on the first line? Because Trevor Zegras is probably at center, Jagr's right wing, maybe Mason McTavish is center, and Zegras is playing left wing. I feel like these guys together, one of them should be scoring 100 points. Maybe I'm just crazy, but I feel like one of them should be doing a bit more. Also, how's James Schwartz not retired? He's 35 years old, 81 overall. Okay, I take that back. I mean, James Schwartz, St. Louis legend, but I was thinking at 35 years old, he wouldn't be that guy anymore. Maybe he still is. Okay, maybe there's a reason Marty Brodeur didn't get an absolute bag. Where is this man? Patrick Waugh, 34 wins, 901 save percentage, a 322 goals against. A pretty solid season from him. Marty Brodeur, where are you? Okay, he didn't do this bad. Maybe he did. 25 wins, 30 losses, 9 OT losses, an 899, a 344. You're just not that guy, pal. I was thinking you would be better. Like, look at last season. And then there's this season. You're still one of the best goaltenders in the league. Like, I mean, you're an 85 overall, you have franchise potential. Maybe Dallas is just a terrible team. I don't know what's going on. In the Stanley Cup, the New Jersey Devils are taking down the Minnesota Wild. Did we have any of our players in the conference finals? No, we didn't. Any in the second round? I think we had one player. Whoever was on Florida, Patty Waugh. He made the second round. Nobody else did. How many of our players actually made the playoffs? Okay, Rangers, Carolina, no. Devils, Tampa, no. Ottawa Bruins, no. Florida, yeah. 3 of our players made the Stanley Cup final. They're on 10 teams. At this point, Gretzky's actually toying with my emotions. Like, I'm going to have one of the best defensive seasons in NHL history. I'm taking home back-to-back Frank Selke awards. I'm that guy. And then the team just says, no, we're not going to build a team around you, Gretzky. Why would we do that? That's just silly. Why would we build around the greatest player of all time? Nah. You have Robert Thomas at your side. That's all you need. Jordan Kyrou, pff, you got 3 players on the team. You can win a Stanley Cup, can't you, Gretzky? Yeah, you're that guy. You're him. You can do it. All right, on paper, this St. Louis team does not look like it would be the worst team in the entire league. First line's Kyrou, Gretzky, and Thomas. On the second line, yeah, our center's not good, and neither is our left winger, but I mean, like, there's still some potential there. Defensively, yeah, this team isn't good, and in between the pipes, we don't have a solid goaltender, but we do have an 84 overall. 22nd in the entire league, not dead last. I also want to look at the Anaheim Ducks. Like, how is this team always so bad? Okay, yeah, they don't have a goaltender, but I mean, like, Jagr should be doing better. Look at this first line. How is Jagr only picking up? How many points did they have last season? It wasn't that many. 75. 75 points, and this is your first line. Like, it should be more than that. Like, come on, man. Brodeur either has the greatest season of all time and somehow gets his team not in last place, or they just run the backup, who's a 69 overall. What's his potential? Fringe starter, 21 years old. You're telling me they couldn't get a better backup than this? I can guarantee you there's better backups as free agents that you could have got for like 900K. Let's actually check this out. We are going to see if there's a better goaltender than a 69 overall that you could have gotten. Wow, who would have seen that one coming? You can sign a 79 overall for 800K. I guess the AI just doesn't think in this game. They're like, nah, I'd rather pay 900 for a 69 overall who's young. But I mean, you could just send him to the AHL to develop and then sign Calgren, who's a 79 overall, to be your backup. But God forbid you do that. Let's run with the 69 overall. So we're going to change things up for this season. Instead of starting with the top team, we're starting with the bottom. And I already have some fantastic news because we can't see St. Louis 25 and lower. But that doesn't really mean too much. They're finishing 22nd last, but I'll take it. 22nd in the entire league. Did I say 22nd last? No, that's not how things work. They finished 22nd. 22nd last would be like what, 10th in the entire league? My brain just stopped working like 2 seasons ago. Detroit's not making the playoffs, but the Kings are. So Nick Lidstrom's making the postseason. So is Maurice Rocket-Richard. Working our way up. We're going to see the Avs, the Islanders. So basically nobody's making the playoffs. Like none of these legends. Florida is, so Patrick Waugh is making the postseason. He might go on a deep run, but all these legends just stay at the bottom of the league. I'm also very curious. I want to look at goaltenders first. And Patrick Waugh is actually sharing the net this season. 39 wins with a 919 and a 282. These are actually some really good numbers. Like out of the top 9 goaltenders here, he has the best save percentage and goals against. So he actually might be able to win a Stanley Cup because he's easily one of the best goaltenders. And then there's Brodeur. 29 wins, an 893 and a 360. I'm really curious what his next contract's going to be. He's dropped to an 88 overall now. He's got 1 season left. I mean, this is the last season, so he's signing a contract in the offseason. Does he stay in Dallas? Who knows? But I'm leaning towards no. So once again, we're not going to see any legend finishing with over 100 points, but Mike Bossy is going to pick up 98. He's picking up 57 goals. You're the only legend so far that hasn't been a complete disappointment, and you're elite potential. Like, how does that work? Maurice Rocket-Richard, 95 points. Gordie Howe, 95. I haven't seen Gretzky yet. Where is Wayne Gretzky, the greatest player of all time? 89 points. I don't even know what to say anymore. Yager having 88. I mean, that's actually pretty good for him. That's the best season he's had so far in his career, so gotta give respect where respect is due. But I'm just sick and tired. Where's Mario Lemieux? Sick and tired of the constant disappointment from these legends. Mario Lemieux, where are you? 82 points, 82 games. You're a 92 overall. How are you only picking up 82 points? And then the Boston Bruins are going to go on to win a Stanley Cup. So technically the team I was controlling just won a Stanley Cup. That proves I'm a better GM than whoever's in St. Louis right now. I literally did nothing. I just let the AI draft the team for me. I let the AI do absolutely everything. And I just won a Stanley Cup. I guess I'm him. Let's take a look at awards. What are the odds that Wayne Gretzky takes home the Selke again? Hold on. Shout out to Mike Bossy. He won the Maurice Rocket-Richard. And Wayne Gretzky, 3rd straight Frank Selke. And Patrick Waugh, the William Jennings, the Vezina. Congrats. Calder, don't care about all this stuff. I've given up. I keep saying I've given up, but I keep on simulating. We have 1 more season. 1 more season with all these guys. I want to see the contract Martin Brodeur signs. I want to see if somebody can win a Stanley Cup. Because honestly, I don't think it's happening. So we got 1 final season. 1 more to see if these legends can live up to the hype. The answer is no, but we want to figure out if anyone can. Brodeur, 4.3. You have fumbled the bag twice now. You're an 88 overall. You should be able to get at least 7 million by this point. We're almost in the year 2030. You should be getting more than 4 million. And the St. Louis Blues, I gotta take 1 more look at this franchise. 1 more look at what this team has accomplished. Philip Gustafson and Kochetkov, those are actually 2 goalies we can actually run with, so maybe we won't be as bad. Oh, for a second I thought Robert Thomas left the team. But the forward core here doesn't look terrible. And the defense actually doesn't look good. Yeah, Provorov's here. He's an 89 overall, but I mean, the rest of the defenders aren't that great, but there is the slightest possibility, the smallest chance this team can make the playoffs. Because we have a goaltender now and we have a decent forward core. Can the impossible happen with the St. Louis Blues? I would say no, but this is NHL 23 and there hasn't been a realistic thing this entire video. So here we go, the final season. The Minnesota Wild are finishing 1st, while Columbus is finishing 2nd, averaging 4 goals a game. Florida is finishing 3rd, while Arizona's got 5th. Calgary's making the playoffs as well, so we're going to see another legend making the postseason. The Penguins are here. The Chicago Blackhawks are here. Is St. Louis here? Yes, they are. The St. Louis Blues finally made the postseason. Okay, we're here. We are here. The St. Louis Blues. Gretzky, what'd you do this season? 150 goals? 160 goals? That's the only way this team makes the postseason, right? Gretzky cracked 100. It's finally happened. The first legend to score 100 points in a season, Wayne Gretzky. It took him, what, 7 years? 7 years too long. Like, no, like we actually have to really think about this. 7 years for one of our legends to crack 100 points. And in this same season, Gretzky's not the only guy. Mike Bossy, 50 goals, 54 assists, 104 points. Gordie Howe, he's picking up 104 as well. Gretzky's got 100. Any other legends cracking 100? It doesn't look like it. But Mario Lemieux's not too far out. He's picking up 98, 40 goals, 58 assists. A great season from him. Please tell me Yager cracked at least 90. Ain't no way he didn't crack 90. He didn't crack 90. Maurice Rocket-Richard, 88. I don't know why I'm putting all this pressure on Jaromir Jagr. I just chose Yager and said, yeah, I'm going to put all the pressure on him. Okay, bro, you had over 80 points, right? Jaromir Jagr, where are you? 76. 76 points for Jaromir Jagr. Nah, it's rough out here. It's real rough. I'm not even going to worry about goaltenders yet. Defense, where's our guys at? Nick Lidstrom, 62 points, 6 goals, 56 assists. Not an awful season, but Bobby Orr as an offensive defenseman, 52 points isn't enough. What is Martin Brodeur up to this season? What's Patrick Waugh up to? I just can't completely skip over this man. 40 wins, a 905 and a 306 goals against. He's 5th in the league in wins. That's a pretty solid campaign from him. Well, Martin Brodeur, where's he at? Okay, this was not your fault, Brodeur. I'm just assuming the team in front of you was absolutely awful. 30 wins, a 900 save percentage, and a 352. It's a tough scene, it really is. And in the postseason, none of our legends are winning a Stanley Cup. Did any of our legends win a Stanley Cup? We're 7 seasons in. We take up 33% of the NHL, or give or take 30%, same difference. St. Louis loses in the first round. I don't think anyone's surprised about that. None of our legends even made the conference finals. We had 3 legends make the second round, and they all fell in the second round in a 5-game series. 4-1 in every single one. Okay, hold on. You're 44. Retire. That's how we're ending this video. It's just me screaming at Ovi, telling him to retire.